Hello everyone, and thank you for watching Edupedia World Videos. In this lecture, we will talk about transportation in sales and distribution module. The shipment document is the basis of transportation planning and execution. This document contains all the shipping related information for the end customer and the other business partners, such as forwarding agents and vendors. Depending on the complexity of your distribution model, the shipments can be the following types. Individual shipment. One or more deliveries are combined in one shipment document. It starts from the same starting point, such as shipping point, and ends at a common destination. For example, all deliveries originating from the same shipping point A and going to the same destination, transportation zone C, by truck can be clubbed together into the same shipment. Collective shipment. One or more deliveries originating from different starting points, such as delivery plant, and shipped to different destinations may be clubbed together in a common shipment. An example is milk run shipments, in which a single truck travels from plant E to plant B and then continues to the final customer destination C. Some of the deliveries are to be carried from A and dropped at B. Other deliveries may originate in B and be added to the truck. Then the total deliveries are taken to the customer location C. Transportation chains. The scenario gets complex when more than one mode of transport is used for shipment. You may need to plan each leg separately, with different sets of documents and instructions to each driver. Within the organization, there can be different teams doing transportation planning, such as for air cargo, ocean, and surface. In such cases, you can create multiple shipment documents. For example, deliveries originated from plant E and plant B are carried in different trucks to an international airport cargo group C. These are called preliminary legs of the journey. From there, they are combined in a second shipment and carried by air on the major leg of the journey. On arrival in airport D, they are then picked up by different trucks and shipped to end locations E and F respectively. These are called subsequent legs. The shipment process requires mapping of major routes in the system. The duration of travel by each route would play a role in planning the date of arrival at the customer location. We will now discuss the configuration of routes in SAP before proceeding the setup of the shipment process. Most organizations use predefined routes in conveying material from source to destination. You can set up and maintain a central repository of your primary routes in SAP. This master record contains all the details about the route, such as the duration, the means of transport, and the service provider. SAP's automatic route determination functionality populates the appropriate route in the sales document. Before you configure route setup, you should ask the following questions. Does the organization use predefined routes? What are the modes of transport being used? Road, air, ocean? Do you want to plan shipments by taking transit time into account? If so, do you know the transit duration of each route? How should you group the destination regions into transportation zones? What should be the right level of aggregation? For example, transportation zones could be regions, states, cities, zip codes, and so on. Increasing the level of detail may improve accuracy, but the number of routes would increase as well. Does the choice of transportation route depend on weight of the shipment? What are these weight groups? Do any specific vendors cater to a specific route? If so, can they be mapped to the route? Are there any major transportation connection points to be mapped with routes? This could be airports, transportation hubs, customs office, harbors, and so on. What is the length of stay at each point? Based on the answers to these questions, You can then configure the routes with the right level of detail. The configuration of routes consists of these major steps: defining modes of transport, defining shipping types, setting up transportation connection points, defining transportation zones, creating transportation groups, setting up weight groups, defining routes, and determining routes. So first step of configuration is defining modes of transport. To configure the modes of transport, go to SPRO transaction, click on SAP reference ING, and follow this path. Logistics execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, routes, define routes, define modes of transport. On this screen, you can specify the mode of transport in the column shipping type using a 2-digit alphanumeric code. If needed, you can assign a mode of transport type. This field is relevant only in the case of movement of dangerous goods. So if you need one more shipping type, you just press New Entries button, or you can copy as a reference existing entry. After that, you can save your changes. Next step in configuration is define shipping types. After defining the modes of transport, you can define the shipping types, such as trucks, trucks with trailers, and so on, and assign them to modes, such as road. Follow menu path logistics execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, routes, and define shipping types. On this screen, you can define the shipping type in the first column using a 2-digit alphanumeric code and assign it to the mode of transport defined earlier. Another field shown here, STPG, Shipping Type Procedure Group, is used during shipment cost calculation. Next step in configuration is setting up transportation connection points. In this step, you can set up all major transportation connection points. As you will see later, you will use them as transit points during the setup of routes. To define the transportation connection point, follow IMG path, logistics execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, routes, and define transportation connection points. Define a new entry identified by unique name and description. You can specify the type of location, such as an airport, train station, and customs office, as well as other relevant attributes and details, such as transit time at the location. On Change View of Transportation Connection Point, you see Characteristic Attribute, Scheduling tab, Reference Customer Vendor tab, Reference to Shipping Point Plant, and Rail Data. Next step in configuration is defining transportation zones. Define transportation zones to specify all the regions that you plan to cover with your routes. Routes will flow from a departure zone to a destination zone. The menu path is logistics execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, routes, define routes, route determination, and click on Define Transportation Zones. Here you can select a country and define transportation zones with a meaningful description. The zones you set up here will be used in the master data. The location of each customer and vendor will be identified using the transportation zone field on the address task in the customer or vendor master record. For example, we can create a new session, go to transaction XD03, choose one customer, and on General Data View in Control Data tab, we will see Transportation Zone. This transportation zone is configured on this screen. You can also specify the zones for each of your shipping points by following menu paths: logistics execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, routes, route determination, and maintain country and transportation zone for shipping. You can select here shipping point and specify the country and transportation zone. Next step in configuration is creating transportation groups. A transportation group combines all materials that share the same transportation requirements. For example, you can group all liquids into a transportation group that requires special tankers for transport. To create transportation groups, use the menu path Logistics Execution, Shipping, Basic Shipping Functions, Routes, Route Determination, Define Transportation Groups. To create the new transportation group, click on New Entries button or Copy as a reference and provide transportation group code and description that code. After making some changes, press Save button. Next step in configuration is defining routes. Follow menu paths: Logistics Execution, Shipping, Basic Shipping Functions, Routes, Define Routes. Click on Define Routes and Stages. You can create your new route by pressing New Entries button or Copy as a reference. On this screen, you will see next steps, like Identification tab with description and route ID fields. Processing tab. If the route is managed by a specific vendor, you can specify it in the Service Engine field. You can also fill the shipping type field here. Scheduling tab. There are important fields on the scheduling tab, such as transit time. Transit time is the total time taken for the goods to reach the customer following the route. It is specified in calendar days. The time entered here is taken into account for planning purposes and for determining the date on which the product will reach the customer. Travel duration. Travel duration expressed in hours is a subset of the total transit time. It is the time taken for the actual travel along the route. Transport loading time. Transportation lead time is the time needed for planning and arranging transportation. SAP uses it to arrive at the transportation planning date. It is specified in calendar days and in hours. When you have defined the attributes of the route, click the route stages. You will see a screen that looks like this. On this screen, you can specify the departure and destination points from the list of transportation connection points defined earlier. Also, here you can specify duration and shipping times, the details for each stage. And the last step in route determination is determining routes. The menu path for route determination is logistics execution, shipping, basic shipping functions, routes, route determination, and maintain route determination. You can set up a new record by pressing your entries button, and after that you can enter the country, transportation zone of the source, and destination locations. You can also specify generic routes between countries, leaving the transportation zone field blank. Click route determination without weight group. This enables you to specify a route for every combination of shipping condition and transportation group, or you can choose route determination with weight group delivery. If it is applicable, during delivery creation, the routes will be redetermined based on the weight of the delivery. So you have successfully customized route determination. In next lecture, we will talk about transportation documents. Thank you for watching Edupedia Work videos.